You know, I have some concerns. Is this commander going to be more broken than Attila? Because if so, we should all be a little bit worried, and today we're going to talk about that. Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Today we're going to explore whether or not Chandragupta, the newest cavalry commander making its way into Rise of Kingdoms, is going to possibly break the game. If you like Rise of Kingdoms guides that help you get value and smash your enemies, consider smashing the subscribe button for daily Rise of Kingdoms videos. We're a sponsored content creator, and that's not going to stop us from saying that we've got some concerns about this commander right over here. His abilities are very comparable to Attila, and we need to talk about those. So we're going to do a point-by-point breakdown, looking at his skills, explaining how they work, and see if we think that this commander is more powerful and possibly more broken than Attila and Takeda as a combo. Will there be combos with Chandragupta that are unstoppable? He will become the new meta, and we should even talk about whether or not this is going to be healthy long-term for Rise of Kingdoms. So first and foremost, we need to review the skills. The first skill does a 40% damage boost. Very powerful, 40% for 3 seconds. Just getting a quick look at Attila, because we're going to compare these two, right? I'm worried. If we get a quick look at Attila, we see that he does a 30% normal and counterattack boost for 4 seconds. So over 4 seconds, 30% boost. That's 120% combined total. That's not exactly how that works, but you get the idea. And the other commander is 40% for 3 seconds. So it's actually the same grand total. So I am very concerned already that Chandragupta is going to be very powerful and hard to swarm down. Continuing on, he also gives, based on some number of stacks of blessed that you have, some extra attack. Okay, that's powerful. Attila is reducing attack. Chandragupta is buffing himself, and that buff cannot be cleared by someone like Theodora. Now, I'm a little concerned. This first ability basically looks like Attila's first ability with a slightly different packaging. So maybe we should be a little concerned here. Attila is reducing the attack of the target. Chandragupta is boosting his own attack. I'm concerned. Next skill. When attacking a stronghold, that's a garrison, a flag, a city, your damage reduction is increased by 10%. So that's very powerful. Damage taken reduction of 10% is very, very, very strong. It also gives you some extra stacks of Blessed after using the Hidden Moon skill. I don't know if you have to be attacking a garrison to get this extra stack of Blessed. And the part of the reason this is powerful is that unlike Attila, who is applying a debuff to the garrison, making it so that there is a 10% chance to reduce the defense of the garrison by 25% for 3 seconds. This is a buff being applied to Chandragupta on an ongoing basis. And yes, there's a 5% damage boost for attacking garrisons on Attila, but you're basically getting twice that, and it can't be removed by Theodora, which is very powerful. So Attila's debuff to garrisons can be removed, whereas Chandragupta, he's just making himself stronger. So already I'm a little concerned about the power level of this commander, but let's continue. Next ability. When this commander's troops are all cavalry, their health is increased by 20%. Now, you know, I talk about this all in my videos, right up in the top, that health is, I think, the best stat in Rise of Kingdoms, bar none. So health is a pretty good stat. This contributes to this commander's tankiness, which he gets a little bit of with the damage reduction over here. In addition, there's a chance, 50% chance, to add a stack of exhaust to the target, reducing their health and defense by 5%, stacking up to 3 times, and each stack lasts 5 seconds. So really a 15% debuff that is going to build up and stay on the target unless someone like Theodora or Kusunoki is defending. So I think Theodora will counter this a little bit, but it's a very powerful ability. You're reducing the enemy stats by 30% and giving yourself 20% of stats. That's very good. We get a look in at our Attila to compare. And on Attila's third skill, he is getting a skill damage taken reduction of 15%, giving himself 15% march speed, which is solid, but not really related to combat, and 40% attack. That's the thing we care about for rallies. So wait a minute. Chandragupta has more stat improvement for the rally context. That's really alarming. So now we've got 3 skills that sort of seem equal or better. Equal or better than Attila. It's really all about what happens next, the 4th and 5th. 5th is the expertise. Self-control. Damage taken from cavalry reduced by 1%. Not so relevant for a garrison, but good anti-swarm technology. A lot of people use cavalry or counter rally with cavalry. After using an active skill, all troops' march speed is increased. All right, well, I don't care about that for garrison stuff and rally stuff. Meanwhile, here's where things get spicy. All stacks of blessed are removed, and damage is dealt to the target based on the number of stacks. We need to look at the expertise skill real quickly to evaluate this, because the expertise is going to give you even more stacks of blessed. When you're rallying, there's a 50% chance when you're off your alliance territory to get 2 stacks. I know it doesn't exactly say that here, but they'll... Oh, wait, they fixed it. It does say 2 stacks now. Haha, they changed the text. Outside of alliance territory, 50% chance on every attack to get 2 stacks, and it can only trigger once every 5 seconds. Why does that matter? You're getting an extra 15% attack for every stack that you get. And this skill, if you have 4 stacks of blessed, which I think you're going to get, you do 2,000 damage factor after using an active skill. But do you know what terrifies me? What terrifies me is that it's 2,000 damage factor after using an active skill, not his active skill. I am very afraid that what this means is that in a round of active skills, this will trigger twice. How does that work? Primary commander uses their active skill. Second of downtime, secondary commander uses their active skill. So this could be 4,000 damage factor flying off the cuff in a 3-second window. That's insane. If that works that way, I don't know if it does. Let's assume it does. How many stacks of blessed are you really going to have for the second time that you fire off this ability? In other words, you got your 4 stacks of blessed. Doing 2,000 damage factor is a lot, but reasonable considering that it's both the expertise skill and the 4th skill worth of value that we're talking about. 2,000 damage factor is fine. But 4,000 damage factor, let's see. After you use Hidden Moon, you gain 1 stack of blessed. So if this commander is the primary, you're going to get 1 stack of blessed after you use your active skill. In addition, you're going to get another stack of blessed over here. So you're already going to have at least 2 stacks of blessed, an extra 1,000 damage factor for the second time you fire off an active skill. This is scary. But if you have this trigger, which depending on whether or not it's on cooldown, you could get another 2 stacks. So I would expect this to be 3,000 damage factor, quite frankly. I would expect it to be 3,000 damage factor in total. The primary skill from the, first commander, and then the active skill of the second commander. That's sort of terrifying. If we just compare to Attila and see what he's doing, he's got some powerful stuff there too. He's making it so there's a chance of getting extra damage. There is a 25% chance to increase all damage dealt by 50% for 2 turns, and a 25% chance to increase your damage dealt by 100%. I mean, that's very powerful. He's doing all normal attacks and counter attacks. That's very powerful. He also can't be silenced, and he also gets 20% extra damage when he's below 50% strength. I would say these are comparable. I would say these are very comparable. I am concerned. I am officially concerned about Chandragupta and what this might do for the meta in Rise of Kingdoms. Is cavalry going to be the only choice? And here's why Attila and Takeda were the only choice for so long. Because you couldn't swarm them. That was the problem. There was no way to deal with them. You had to take the rally, and there wasn't a good garrison to deal with it. Or really, there was a decent garrison, but no one really figured it out until way too late. And myself included. We were defending with Richard I in KVK Season 3. It was embarrassing. I'm embarrassed. I'm still embarrassed. Card up in the top. KVK Season 3. It was a grand time. Back when I was even more of a noob than I am today. Lol. So, do I think that this style of change is healthy for Rise of Kingdoms, for new commanders to come into the game, to be more powerful and more powerful and more powerful? First of all, I don't know if it's actually true. I'm just hypothesizing this is true. I don't think it's a great thing, though. What I think is good is designs like William I. I actually think William I is elegant. And a part of the reason he's so good is that he's kind of doing something we didn't have before, a legendary Joan of Arc. And it's not a straight up legendary Joan of Arc, which I think is a good thing too. I think William's design could be good. Hopefully it's not overpowered good, but I think it could be good. But I'm concerned about Chandragupta. Is he swarmable? And I think the answer there is that there are better ways to deal with Chandragupta. He can be silenced, which is important. If you're swarming with a bunch of Herman and Sid combos, you can do some work. If you're defending with Wu Zetian, she can silence this commander. Whereas Attila, you couldn't silence him. So there's a little bit more opportunity to deal with him as a commander, which I think is good. I don't know if this is going to break the game. I'm concerned it might, and I don't think it would be healthy if it does. I think the developers will adjust it if it is, but by that time, a lot of people will have taken a lot of heat, which I think is less than amazing. So I don't know how this is going to play out. I'm a little concerned. He's more swarmable in some ways than the Attila Takeda, because the 4th skill on Attila is increasing all damage dealt. This is important to keep in mind. This includes counterattacks, and counterattacks is a part of why he's so hard to swarm. If we look at Chandragupta, look, he's getting extra damage in onto his main target. That's cool. But his 4th skill is not making him even harder to swarm. I think the fact that he will be hard to swarm a little bit is because his attack is going to be high. He's going to have 40% extra damage and a pretty moderate uptime for that. And that means his counterattack is going to do more damage too. He's got 20% more health, which is going to make him more tanky. I have some concerns, but I think he will be able to be dealt with. I think that a Theodora YSS defense will probably do the job. And the reason I think that will be decent is because, look, Yi Sun-shin, he's not doing things that are particularly disruptive by what we see in Chandragupta. I think he can handle it. And I think that Theodora, she can clear. She can clear those debuffs, which I think is really solid. Now, who do I think people are going to pair with Chandragupta? That's a good question. Chandragupta, I think, is going to be really solid with commanders that generate lots of rage. Why is that? Because the faster you fire off Chandragupta's skills, the faster you can get self-control, this 4th skill, to fire off again. Free value. Free value. So commanders that boost skill damage are going to be really nuts. I think that a combo like Khan with Chandragupta as the secondary are going to be honestly sort of alarmingly powerful, but they will be very vulnerable to being swarmed. Again, Attila Takeda, powerful in part because the Takeda brought a lot of tankiness. I think this is a cool idea, but probably not going to work if the enemy does any defending whatsoever and doesn't just let you free rally them. I mean, if you completely own the field, oh man, you just shred them with Khan, Chandragupta, and I'm concerned for them. I think what a more typical rally combo might be is going to be the Saladin primary, Chandragupta secondary. I mentioned that because the support tree generates even more rage and brings a lot of tankiness. And I think that will be very powerful in protecting the Chandragupta because he can't really do that for himself. He has health, but that's it. Okay, he's got some health, and that's really it. And he's got some high counterattack, which he gets purely from his active skill, increasing all damage dealt, right? So it's boosting counterattack damage as well by 40%. Now, Saladin is going to reduce the skill damage you take. So if they try to swarm you with skill damage, they're going to be in trouble. It's going to reduce the counterattack damage you take, which is good when you're rallying a target that, like, look, if they're using like Charles Martel and Constantine, all they do is normal attacks and counterattacks. So reducing counterattack damage taken is a very big deal. I think there's a little bit left to be desired from Saladin's active skill, quite frankly. There's something a little bit left to be desired, but I think it's made up for in the talents. If it's not this pairing, I am a little concerned. That maybe what you do is Chandragupta with Takeda secondary. And Chandragupta with Takeda secondary, man, I mean, look, Takeda cares about doing normal attack damage, okay? And you boost all damage by 40% with Chandragupta. The only thing that I will say that makes me less worried about this meta being broken by Chandragupta with Takeda is that if you put Theodora in that garrison, she will clear this debuff, Fierce as the Fire, which is very important. This is very important. This is important because so much of what Takeda does is reliant on doing extra damage because Fierce as the Fire is on the target. So if Theodora's timing with her active skill clears this, I think Takeda's effectiveness can be reduced dramatically, even though the healing and the tankiness from the Takeda is exactly what Chandragupta wants. It's sort of terrifying, quite frankly. I think there will be the Theodora counter, but only once we have our hands on these new commanders can we test them out and see exactly how that all will unfold. So again, I want to be really clear that I think a part of the reason new commanders coming into the game seem really powerful is because they frequently do things that we just haven't seen at the legendary tier before, right? We haven't seen a buffing commander at the legendary tier, and that's what William does. And that's why I think he's cool. He also does area of effect damage, and you have to be hitting multiple targets to be getting his, AoE buffs as well. I like that. I think it's a reasonable restriction. He'll be powerful, but I think balanced. It's the Chandragupta. Do we have the tools to deal with this monster? Only time will tell. Let me know down below in the comments if you think that this commander will be reasonable. If you're looking for more information on William, I'll put a card up in the top where I hypothesize why he might be the best legendary for free-to-play players to go and invest in. And if you're looking for my initial reactions to these commanders, I'll have a card up in the top for that as well. We had a really solid and fun live stream where, man, I just rolled out of bed and I was like, holy moly, new commanders, we got to talk about it. And so we did. Check that out if you're looking for a lot more detailed evaluation of both of these commanders. Consider throwing a like on the video if you enjoyed this and subscribing to the channel for daily Rise of Kingdoms videos. And until next time, you have fun smashing the kingdom.